Good morning, Marnie. Happy Election Day. And look, I know there are a lot of races when it comes to the Senate all across the country that have gotten a lot of attention. I've been saying this over and over again. We cannot forget about this crucial battleground state of Ohio. Yes, it leans Republican, but this race could be incredibly close. Polling up until just a couple of days ago was very close. And look, this is going to be very likely a much tighter race than people expect. It could be one of those crucial ones that ultimately decides who controls the Senate. We're going to get into that race specifically a bit more between J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan. But for right now, Marnie, I do want to show everybody what we're seeing here. We were at a precinct in Columbus, and the doors opened here at 6:30 in the morning. I can tell you since then, we've seen a steady stream of voters come through, and it really hasn't stopped. People have been here voting throughout. Now, something else interesting about this precinct specifically, they have about 5,900, 6,000 voters or so here that are registered. About a quarter of them have already voted early. Now, statewide in Ohio, we're seeing the early vote, like in other places, really balloon. They set a record. 1.5 million people here in Ohio have already voted as of yesterday. So you're seeing the enthusiasm. You're seeing that early vote happen here as well in Columbus. So back to the Senate race specifically, we did get a chance yesterday to talk to Tim Ryan, the Democrat running, and we heard from J.D. Vance, both of whom sort of gave their last-ditch effort pitches to voters. Here's what they said just hours before people actually started coming to the polls.
Ohioans are going to vote for somebody who's a fighter like them, not some millionaire who's funded by billionaires, because they know inherently that that person will not be on their side. They're already on the side of the big money people.
And the message there is just very clear. We need to take the country in another direction. We're not going to do that unless we get out there and vote and throw out the current cast of leadership in Washington, D.C.
Marnie, one thing I want to emphasize, too, that is certainly going to have an impact on how House races here in Ohio, which we have a couple that are pretty competitive right now, play out, is redistricting. This was a redistricting year, and because of that, you've got two in particular that we're really watching. One is a Democrat named Marcy Kaptur. She's a very popular Democratic congresswoman in Ohio. She's been serving in the House for almost 40 years. She's the longest-serving woman in the House of Representatives right now, but her district is now all of a sudden much more Republican than it was before. So she is facing the battle of her life right now when it comes to her congressional career. On the other side of the aisle, you got a Republican named Steve Chabot, also an Ohio congressman. His district was actually now incorporating much more of Cincinnati, which is a much more Democratic area than what his district was before. So you have a Republican and a Democrat, as a result of redistricting, really facing some uphill battles. We're going to watch how those races go, because those races, as we start to get results in later in the day, could actually give an indication about the statewide races, meaning the governor and that crucial Senate race that we've really been following, Marnie.
Yeah, so many important issues on the ballot in Ohio, and we focused a lot on that Senate race, Joe, but you mentioned there is a gubernatorial race as well. You've got DeWine and Whaley running tonight. How much are people talking about which big ticket item they're going to be motivated to head to the polls and vote on? Is it the Senate race? Is it the governor's race? And who tends to win if you've got DeWine pulling people in to vote, the impact on the Senate race?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because typically if you have a governor's race and a Senate race, the one that tends to bring voters out is a governor's race. Historically, that's been true. Around the country, that's been true. I think in this case, it may be a little bit different. That may be flipped, only because the Senate race is seen as much more competitive. This is a state that does lean a bit Republican, but Governor Mike DeWine is seen in a lot of circles as one that is a more moderate, at least in temperament, Republican governor. So he's got wide popularity, and that has been borne out in polls. And we're not focusing on polls much today because it is election day, but it's seen as a less competitive race right now. So maybe that Senate race that's actually driving people to the polls. And then, I mean, the issues when it comes to nationwide issues, those are felt here in Ohio as well. You've heard a lot about inflation from voters, heard a lot about jobs, bringing manufacturing jobs back. And people have talked about just quality of government. People think that Washington is broken. So when you hear that, people clearly are talking about the Senate race and not so much the governor's race. But certainly both of them important, both of them on voters' minds here today.
Yeah, absolutely critical. All right, Joe Khalil in Columbus, Ohio for us this morning. Joe, thank you. We'll be checking back in with you. Then we've got Georgia. The Senate race has been fueled there by allegations and personal attacks from both parties, and this has been one of the costliest elections this cycle. Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock is looking to hold on to his seat in the Senate. Republican challenger Herschel Walker